Midnight magic sparkles. Jimin gently touches Jungkook's face at 12 am. Their eyes lock and time stands still. Sparkling fireworks fans can't handle the emotion. "Don't move." Jimin's whisper sliced through the crisp night air, trembling yet commanding, as if the words themselves carried the weight of a secret no one else could bear to hear. The city skyline shimmered behind them, 1,000 lights reflecting on Jungkook's wide, startled eyes. His chest rose and fell in shallow, uneven breaths, the cold December wind catching the strands of his dark hair and sending them dancing across his forehead. Jimin stepped closer, and for a fleeting heartbeat, the world seemed to shrink, snowflakes drifting lazily around them, frozen in midair as if time itself had paused to witness this moment. His hand rose with deliberate slowness, trembling slightly, and brushed Jungkook's cheek, the contact electric yet tender. The touch was impossibly soft, feather-light, carrying 1,000 unspoken words: fear, longing, regret, and something dangerously close to hope. Jungkook's eyes locked with his, the world narrowing to nothing but that gaze. It was intimate, unguarded, exposing raw emotions neither had dared articulate aloud. His usual walls, built high through years of deflection and quiet self-protection, wavered, cracking at the edges as Jimin's fingers traced the curve of his jaw. Jungkook's breath hitched, a shiver running down his spine, not from the cold, but from the gravity of the unspoken tension that now tethered them together. The faint hum of distant traffic and the occasional burst of fireworks from the New Year's Eve celebration felt irrelevant, drowned out by the quiet intensity between them. Every detail became amplified. The subtle warmth of Jimin's hand against Jungkook's skin, the soft inhale that caught in his throat, the tremor of Jimin's lips as he opened his mouth to speak. I've been waiting for this," Jimin admitted, voice breaking just enough to reveal vulnerability, a crack in the armor he had carried silently for far too long. Jungkook's mind raced, a whirlwind of thoughts and suppressed emotions colliding. He had always known Jimin's presence was magnetic, but this intimate collision of timing, touch, and unspoken longing was something else entirely. It made every night of sleepless pondering, every unexpressed worry, every moment he'd spent wondering if he mattered enough, culminate in this impossible second. The world seemed to blur around them. Snowflakes melted into the air like suspended diamonds, the cold biting at their cheeks but unnoticed. The scent of winter, crisp, metallic, and oddly comforting, mingled with the faint fragrance of Jimin's cologne, anchoring Jungkook in a way no words could. His hand instinctively moved to hover near Jimin's wrist, hesitant, uncertain, yet desperate to reciprocate, to reassure, to connect. I can't believe this is happening," Jungkook whispered, voice barely audible over the silence they had created together. Every word trembled with honesty, with the fear of vulnerability, with the risk of losing what they both had silently craved. Jimin's eyes softened, a glimmer of unshed tears catching in the golden glow of the streetlights. "Neither can I," he replied, his thumb tracing slow circles along Jungkook's jawline. The moment stretched, 10 seconds, 100 seconds, until the boundary between hesitation and surrender dissolved. Their hearts thudded in a synchronized rhythm, rapid and unsteady, yet impossibly in sync. Time was no longer linear. It had folded, contracted around them, creating a pocket of intimacy no one else could enter. And in that moment, nothing else mattered, not the looming chaos of the city, not the judgment of onlookers, not even the passage of the night itself. There was only this, only the warmth, the gaze, the quiet electricity between two souls finally acknowledging the truth they had both buried. The distant crackle of fireworks reached them, bright and explosive, but faint against the more profound ignition of emotions between them. Jungkook leaned ever so slightly into Jimin's hand, a tentative surrender that spoke of trust and desire, of relief and fear tangled together. They lingered like that, suspended in a fragile balance, neither fully yielding nor retreating, until the clock's faint chime heralded the first moment of midnight. And for one breathtaking second, the world stopped. The city had quieted in the early hours, yet the storm inside the small apartment was impossible to ignore. Jimin's fingers lingered on Jungkook's cheek, reluctant to let go, and Jungkook could feel every heartbeat, every tremor under that soft touch. The tension between them wasn't just desire, It was a volatile mix of fear, longing, and unspoken secrets that had been simmering for years. We shouldn't, Jungkook muttered, voice low but strained, as if even saying it aloud made him betray the walls he had spent so long erecting. His eyes darted away for a fraction of a second, but Jimin's hand moved with insistent tenderness, tilting his face back so that their eyes met again. "You're scared," Jimin whispered, his thumb brushing over the line of Jungkook's jaw, "and I get it. I've been scared too, scared of losing you, scared of what this could mean." His voice cracked slightly, betraying the calm exterior he had always shown to the world. "But hiding us, it's killing me." Jungkook swallowed hard, his fingers curling into fists at his sides. Every nerve in his body was on fire, every instinct screaming at him to pull away, but the heat in Jimin's gaze was magnetic. "Do you really know what you're asking?" he said, tension threading through the words. "There are complications, people expectations, and you," his voice faltered. "You don't even know if you can trust me." Jimin's breath hitched. "I trust you more than anyone, Jungkook, more than I've ever trusted anyone. But if you keep pushing me away, if you keep hiding, we'll never be able to fix this. To be real, to be honest." He took a step closer, closing the distance until the air between them felt electric, thick with anticipation and danger. The silence stretched, punctuated only by the distant hum of the city and the faint echo of fireworks from a block away. Jungkook's hands trembled slightly as he reached for Jimin, brushing their fingers together tentatively. It was both a test and a surrender, a fragile acknowledgement of the connection neither of them could ignore. "You have no idea how much I've wanted this, Jimin admitted, voice barely above a whisper. "Every time I see you, every time you smile, every time you—" He stopped abruptly, the words catching in his throat as if they might shatter the fragile reality they were constructing. "I can't lie anymore, Jungkook, I don't want to." Jungkook's chest tightened, every thought colliding with emotion he had long buried. "Jimin, he paused. Swallowing hard, "I've been so angry at myself for feeling this, for letting it grow. And now," his voice dropped to a barely audible whisper, "I don't know how to stop it." The tension was unbearable, raw and consuming, yet charged with an intimacy neither could deny. Jimin's hand cupped Jungkook's face fully now, thumb tracing the line of his jaw as he leaned closer. Their breaths mingled, shallow and quick, hearts pounding in rhythm like two storms colliding. And then, without warning, the sound of the front door slamming downstairs jolted them apart. Both froze, eyes wide, the moment shattered. Footsteps echoed up the stairwell, deliberate and heavy, sending a jolt of panic through their veins. They can't find us here," Jungkook muttered, his hands gripping Jimin's waist instinctively. His mind raced, calculating, remembering every hidden corner and escape route he had memorized in the building. If anyone sees us," his voice trailed, the implication clear. Jimin's eyes darkened, a mix of fear and defiance flashing across his features. "We'll handle it together." His voice was firm now, unwavering, even as his hands trembled slightly from adrenaline. "No more running, Jungkook, not from each other, not from them, not from ourselves." The footsteps drew closer, their rhythm echoing with a threat that seemed both immediate and unavoidable. Jungkook pressed Jimin against the wall, shielding him instinctively, heart racing, senses heightened. The smell of cold concrete and faint traces of perfume from the hallway mingled with their own rapid, heated breaths. "You don't understand," Jungkook hissed, voice taut with desperation. "They'll ruin everything, ruin us." His hands clenched the edge of Jimin's jacket. "You can't let them see us." Jimin's lips pressed against Jungkook's temple, a fleeting, desperate kiss that burned hotter than the fear swirling around them. "Let them see us," he whispered fiercely, eyes blazing. "Let them see who we really are. I don't care what happens, not anymore. I'll fight for this for us." A shadow moved in the doorway, a figure neither of them expected. Their eyes met, wide and unblinking, the room suddenly suffused with tension so thick it was almost tangible. Everything they had feared, everything they had tried to control, suddenly surged into the open. The threat was no longer abstract. It was here alive, and it demanded their attention. And in that instant, as adrenaline collided with desire, fear, and defiance, Jungkook realized the truth he had been avoiding for months. No matter what the world demanded, no matter how impossible it seemed, he could not, and would not, let go of Jimin. Jimin mirrored the same resolve, his hand finding Jungkook, again, fingers entwining. Their connection, fragile yet fierce, became a shield against the storm pressing in on all sides. They would face the danger, the chaos, and the judgment together. And in that dangerous, heated, electric night, they both understood. Love, once ignited, could not be extinguished. The city outside was draped in darkness, but inside the apartment, every shadow seemed to pulse with tension. Jungkook's heart was hammering against his ribcage, each beat louder than the faint hum of traffic beyond the walls. Jimin's hand still lingered on his face, but now it was steadier, firmer, almost daring him to resist, and for the first time, Jungkook didn't. "I can't believe you brought them here," Jungkook hissed, his voice tight, chest rising and falling rapidly. He glanced toward the hallway where the faint creak of footsteps had just faded. "Do you even realize what could happen if they—" His words cut off as Jimin leaned close, his lips brushing against Jungkook's ear. "I don't care," Jimin whispered, warm and provocative, sending shivers down Jungkook's spine. "I care about us. Right now, not them, not anyone else." Jungkook's resolve faltered, his breath hitching. His hands found Jimin's waist, gripping tightly, as though holding on could anchor him to reality. "You don't understand what's at stake," he muttered, voice breaking. "If anyone finds out, it's not just rumors, it's everything we've worked for, everything I thought I had under control." Jimin tilted his head, letting their foreheads touch. "Then let me in," he said softly, almost pleading. "Let me be the one you trust, Jungkook. Don't shut me out, don't shut yourself out." His thumb traced the curve of Jungkook's jaw, lingering in a way that was more intimate than any touch they'd ever shared. "You don't have to face this alone." Jungkook's chest heaved as he tried to form words, tried to articulate the storm inside him. I've tried to protect myself, protect everyone from this from us." His gaze dropped, vulnerability flashing across his face. "But I can't stay away from you. Not now, not ever." Jimin smiled softly, a mix of relief and longing, and pressed his lips against Jungkook's temple. "Then stop running," he murmured, voice low, heated. "Stop pretending this is a game. We both know it's not." The tension between them thickened, almost tangible, each unspoken word, each barely contained emotion adding to the intensity. Jungkook's fingers threaded through Jimin's hair, pulling him closer, and Jimin's hand slid to the back of Jungkook's neck, anchoring him against the heat of his body. Their breaths mingled, quick and shallow, hearts pounding in synchrony as the apartment seemed to shrink around them. Suddenly, the sound of a message alert on Jimin's phone cut through the charged silence, jangling like a warning bell. He pulled back slightly, reluctantly, to glance at the screen. His expression shifted, alarm and disbelief crossing his face. Jungkook noticed immediately. "What is it?" he demanded, voice tight, tension coiling like a spring. Jimin's lips pressed into a thin line before he finally spoke. It's from someone who shouldn't know, someone who could ruin everything. They know we're here. They know what's happening." Panic laced his words, but his eyes never left Jungkook's. "We need to leave, now." Jungkook's pulse spiked, adrenaline coursing through him. "No," he said firmly, stepping closer again, their bodies almost touching. "We don't run, not from this, not from them, not from us. They can't control us, not tonight, not ever." Jimin's gaze softened, a mix of fear and desire, and he let himself be drawn in once more. "You're insane," he whispered, voice trembling, but the edge of a smile tugged at his lips. "Completely reckless." "And you love it," Jungkook countered, his hands now firmly holding Jimin's face, thumbs brushing over his cheeks as if trying to memorize every detail. "Admit it." Jimin's laugh was short, breathless, tinged with tension and longing. "Maybe I do," he confessed, voice low, almost a growl. "Maybe I've been waiting for you to stop pretending you're untouchable, for me to stop pretending I can handle being just your friend." The words hung between them, electric and dangerous, as Jimin leaned forward and kissed Jungkook fully, lips pressing, hands exploring, a desperate collision of desire and emotion. Jungkook responded immediately, body taut, tension melting into passion, yet beneath it all, a thread of fear wove through. the knowledge that discovery could come at any second, yet the magnetic pull between them was undeniable. Minutes passed, or was it hours? Time blurred. The world outside no longer existed. Only this space, this heat, this intensity. Every gasp, every whisper, every stolen touch spoke of trust, rebellion, and a forbidden love that neither could resist. Then, without warning, the faint sound of a key turning in the lock upstairs sent both of them freezing. Eyes locked again, hearts thudding violently, the reality of danger crashing back in. Jimin's hand clutched Jungkook, pressing against his chest. "We're not hiding anymore," he said fiercely, voice shaking with adrenaline. "If they come, they'll see. They'll have to." Jungkook swallowed hard, tension and desire coiling inside him like a live wire. "Then we fight," he said, jaw tight. "Together, no matter what." And in that heated, terrifying, impossibly intimate moment, they both realized love this fierce, this consuming, was never meant to be safe. It was meant to ignite, to challenge, to consume them entirely. And nothing, not threats, not fear, not judgment, could stop it now. The apartment was tense, every shadow seeming to stretch longer as if reaching toward them, a silent witness to the storm that had erupted. Jungkook's fingers were still intertwined with Jimin, both of them standing frozen, listening to the faint echo of approaching footsteps. Every nerve in Jungkook's body was coiled tight, aware that discovery could happen at any moment. Yet amidst the fear, the heat between them refused to dissipate. "You think they'll stop us?" Jungkook asked, voice barely a whisper, trembling with both adrenaline and longing. His gaze never left Jimin, searching for reassurance in the depths of those familiar eyes. Jimin stepped closer, pressing a hand to Jungkook's chest, feeling the rapid thrum of his heartbeat. "They won't," he murmured, voice low and fierce, heated with determination. "Because we're not backing down, not tonight, not ever." His lips brushed against Jungkook's collarbone in a teasing, electrifying way, sending a shiver racing down his spine. "We've waited too long for this." Jungkook's breath hitched, and his hands moved to cup Jimin's face, thumbs tracing the curve of his jaw in a slow, deliberate caress. "I've never wanted anything more," he admitted, voice rough with emotion. "But I'm terrified. Every second with you is like walking on a knife's edge." Jimin smiled faintly, a glint of mischief in his eyes, and leaned closer until their foreheads touched. "Then let's walk on it together," he whispered, a husky edge to his tone, "and see who falls first." The words were daring, but they carried a weight that made Jungkook's chest tighten with anticipation and fear alike. Their lips met again, urgent and demanding, a collision of desire and frustration that had been simmering for far too long. Every touch, every brush of skin was incendiary, an unspoken promise of all the nights and secrets they had denied themselves. Jimin's hands roamed down Jungkook's back, pulling him impossibly close, while Jungkook's fingers tangled in Jimin's hair, anchoring him, claiming him in a silent, desperate declaration. A sudden noise, glass clinking in the neighboring apartment, made them freeze, hearts hammering violently. Jungkook pressed Jimin against the wall instinctively, holding him close as if sheer proximity could shield them from the world outside. We can't be seen like this," he breathed, panic lacing his words. Jimin chuckled softly, a sound that was part relief, part challenge. "Then let them see," he whispered, lips brushing against Jungkook's ear. "Let them see who we are when we're alone, when we're not pretending. I don't care what happens. I'll fight for this for us." Jungkook's resistance faltered, melting away under Jimin's heated gaze and relentless closeness. "You always make it impossible to think clearly," he muttered, voice rough, breath uneven. "But I can't stop. I don't want to." His lips met Jimin, again, slower this time, as if memorizing the taste, the heat, the softness that had haunted his thoughts for months. Jimin pulled back slightly, just enough to rest his forehead against Jungkook's. "Do you realize what we're doing?" he asked softly, almost teasing, but the tension in his voice betrayed the gravity. "What it means, what it could cost us." Jungkook swallowed hard, eyes dark with a mixture of fear and desire. "I do," he admitted, voice low, "and yet I'd risk everything. For this, for you." A knock at the door made both of them flinch, the sound sharp and intrusive, dragging them abruptly back to reality. Jungkook's pulse spiked, muscles tensing while Jimin's grip on him tightened. "They're here!" Jungkook whispered, voice taut with anticipation and dread. We can't hide anymore. Jimin's lips curled into a determined, slightly reckless smile. Then let's confront it, he said, voice fierce, eyes blazing. Together, let them try to break us. We'll show them what they can't touch. Jungkook nodded slowly, the resolve hardening in his chest. Fear and desire intertwined, but the bond between them was stronger than the threat looming outside. Every lingering touch, every heated glance, every whispered confession solidified their defiance. The doorknob rattled suddenly, jolting them, and for the first time, Jungkook realized the depth of what he felt: love, fear, passion, and a desperate need to protect this fragile, fiery connection. Jimin's hand found his again, fingers tightening as if to say without words, we face this together. And in that charged, electrifying moment, they both understood something undeniable. Nothing could keep them apart, not fear, not judgment, not even the world itself. The stakes were higher than ever, the danger real, and yet the fire between them burned brighter than any threat could extinguish. The night outside had deepened, casting the apartment into shadowed corners that seemed alive with anticipation. Jungkook paced, restless, fingers grazing the edge of the couch, his mind spinning with fear and desire intertwined so tightly that he could hardly separate them. Jimin leaned against the wall, arms crossed, watching him with a mix of amusement and fierce intensity, as if daring him to confess everything he was holding back. You've been avoiding me all week, Jimin finally said, voice low, dangerous. Pretending you're okay, pretending nothing's happening. But I know you, Jungkook, I always do. His eyes glinted with challenge, warmth, and something darker, a hunger that sent heat rushing through Jungkook. Jungkook stopped packing, hands clenched at his sides, jaw tight. I had to think, he admitted, voice rough, tension vibrating with every word. You have no idea what this could cost us. If anyone finds out, everything we've built, everything we've worked for, it could all collapse. Jimin took a step closer, closing the distance until only the faintest space separated them. His hand reached up to cup Jungkook's cheek, thumb brushing lightly over the stubble there. And yet, he murmured, leaning in so their breaths mingled, here we are. Nothing has collapsed, not yet, and maybe it won't, if we don't let fear control us. Jungkook's hands went to Jimin's waist, pulling him impossibly close, heart thundering. You make it impossible to think straight, he admitted, voice trembling. Every time you look at me like that, every time you touch me. His words trailed into a harsh, desperate whisper as his lips found Jimin's, a kiss that was part hunger, part need, part confession. Jimin responded immediately, arms wrapping around Jungkook's neck, pressing him harder against his chest, feeling the rapid beat of his heart through his body. I've waited too long for this, he said, voice low, urgent. Too long for you to pretend we're just friends, too long for us to hide what we feel. Do you feel it, Jungkook? The way this, us, consumes everything. Jungkook's hands roamed Jimin's back, pulling him even closer. I feel it, he admitted, teeth grazing Jimin's earlobe as he whispered, and I can't stop wanting you. Not now, not ever. The air around them seemed to crackle, tension coiling like a live wire. Every touch, every breath was a dangerous thrill, a forbidden thrill, and yet neither could pull away. Jimin's lips moved against Jungkook's neck, teasing, urgent, sending shivers down his spine. Jungkook's hands found the line of Jimin's hips, fingers pressing, memorizing, claiming. Suddenly, a message alert sounded from Jungkook's phone on the table, sharp and intrusive. Both of them froze. Jungkook glanced at the screen, and his face paled. The message was from someone he had hoped never to hear from again, someone who had been lurking in the shadows of their lives, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. It's them, Jungkook said, voice barely audible, filled with dread. They know about us. His chest tightened, panic flashing across his features. Everything we've tried to protect, it's exposed. Jimin's eyes darkened with determination, a dangerous fire lighting his features. Then we fight back, he said, stepping closer so their bodies were flush against each other. We don't hide, we don't apologize. If they want a war, they'll get one, but I'm not letting them touch us. Not you, not this. Jungkook swallowed hard, fear and desire battling inside him. It's more than a threat, he admitted, voice low. They'll do whatever it takes to ruin us, and if we go public, we'll be labeled, scrutinized. Everyone will judge us. Jimin's lips curved into a faint, mischievous smile, dangerous and tempting. Then let them, he whispered, pressing a heated kiss to Jungkook's jaw. Let them see what they can't control. Let them see what they can't touch. Let's show them that we're untouchable together. Jungkook's hands gripped Jimin's shoulders, pulling him into a fierce, desperate kiss that was part warning, part seduction, part surrender. Heat radiated off them, mingling with the tension of fear and defiance, every touch daring the world to interfere. Minutes or maybe hours passed in a blur of stolen kisses, whispered confessions, and heated glances. They were lost in each other, cocooned in a world where nothing else existed. Yet beneath the passion, the knowledge of the looming threat simmered, sharp and unyielding, like a blade pressed against their skin. Finally, Jimin pulled back slightly, lips glistening, eyes dark with emotion. "We're not safe," he said, voice husky, filled with a mixture of fear and determination. "But I don't care. I'll take every risk for you, Jungkook, every single one." Jungkook's breath caught, chest tight, heart pounding violently. "And I'll take them too," he whispered, voice breaking, fingers tightening on Jimin's. "Every single one, as long as it's with you." For a long, fragile moment, they stood like that, two hearts beating as one, defiant, unyielding, and utterly consumed by the fire they had ignited together. The danger had not passed. The world outside might be ready to strike, but in this room, in this moment, nothing existed except them. Desire, love, and the raw, burning intensity of a bond that refused to be broken. The first light of dawn was barely brushing the skyline, painting the room in pale gold, but inside the apartment, the atmosphere was electric, charged with a storm that refused to settle. Jungkook sat on the edge of the bed, shirt half undone, hands still trembling from the night before, mind spinning with adrenaline and desire. Jimin was perched next to him, close enough to feel every tremor of his body, every rapid heartbeat, yet careful enough to leave space, an unspoken tension that screamed more than any words could. "You're still thinking about it," Jimin said, voice low, teasing, but there was an edge, a vulnerability he couldn't hide. "About them, about what could happen if—" His words cut off as Jungkook's hand found his, gripping tightly. "I can't stop," Jungkook admitted, voice rough, laden with exhaustion and longing. "Every second I'm not with you, my mind is racing. I can't, Jimin, I can't pretend anymore." His thumb traced small, deliberate circles over Jimin's hand, grounding himself while simultaneously burning with desire. "Not when everything feels like it's about to explode." Jimin's gaze softened, a flicker of vulnerability passing through his otherwise fierce expression. "I know," he murmured. "I feel it too, and it terrifies me, but God, it also makes me feel alive, like nothing else matters." He leaned closer, brushing a gentle kiss across Jungkook's lips, a slow, teasing touch that sent shivers through him. "Do you know how long I've waited for this, for you to stop running from me, from us?" Jungkook swallowed hard, chest tightening. "Too long," he admitted, voice low, almost a growl, as desire and fear twisted together in a dangerous dance. "And I've been so angry at myself, angry for feeling this way, angry for wanting you so badly I can't think straight." His lips found Jimin, again, a heated kiss, urgent and unrestrained, every touch demanding and raw. Jimin moaned softly against his mouth, hands wandering to Jungkook's back, pulling him impossibly close. "Then stop fighting it," he whispered, voice husky. "Stop pretending you can control this, control us. Let me in, Jungkook, all the way." The world outside faded into irrelevance. Every brush of skin, every heated whisper, every stolen touch became a language only they understood, a mix of desire, confession, and reckless abandon. Jungkook's hands roamed Jimin's body, memorizing curves and contours, feeling the warmth, the tension, the vulnerability, while Jimin responded in kind, his touch both tender and daring, teasing and claiming. But even in the fire of their intimacy, the world's threat loomed like a shadow over their connection. Jungkook's phone buzzed again, urgent and insistent, pulling them reluctantly from their heated cocoon. He glanced at the screen and his face paled. A message, cryptic and menacing, from someone who had been manipulating from the shadows, threatened to unravel everything they had just embraced. "They're not done," Jungkook muttered, voice tight, heart racing with fear and defiance. "They know we're together now, and they're going to try to destroy us." Jimin's hand found Jungkook, again, fingers gripping tightly, grounding him, giving him the courage he didn't know he had. "Then we face it," he said, voice low, dangerous but unwavering. "Together, no more hiding, no more pretending. If they want to play games, let them. We're untouchable when we're like this." He leaned in, lips pressing against Jungkook's neck in a heated, tantalizing touch, igniting desire even as danger loomed. Jungkook groaned, tilting his head back, surrendering to both the passion and the fear. "I don't care about anything else," he admitted, voice rough, low, desperate. "Not the threats, not the judgment, not the chaos outside. Only you." Jimin's lips curved into a dangerous, satisfied smile, brushing against Jungkook's collarbone with deliberate slowness. "Then we burn together," he murmured, a statement heavy with intent, with desire, with the thrill of rebellion. "Every rule, every expectation, every fear, nothing matters but this." And for a long, suspended moment, they were lost to each other, two hearts colliding, defying the world, igniting a fire so intense that it threatened to consume everything around them. Yet beneath the heat, beneath the urgency, the tension remained, a reminder that danger lurked, that secrets and threats could strike at any moment. Jungkook finally pulled back, breathless, forehead resting against Jimin's. "We're playing with fire," he whispered, voice trembling with exhaustion and longing. "And I don't think either of us can put it out now." Jimin smiled, brushing his thumb over Jungkook's cheek, eyes glinting with mischief and something darker, something that dared the world to interfere. "Then let's see how bright it can burn," he said, voice low, daring, electric. "Together, no matter what comes next." The tension between them was no longer just desire. It was defiance, rebellion, confession, and surrender all at once. And as the dawn broke through the window, painting their entwined bodies in pale gold, both knew that nothing, no threat, no judgment, no secret, could separate them now. Not without a fight, not without consequence, and neither of them wanted to stop fighting. The city outside was alive with noise, lights flickering in the early evening as if reflecting the chaos inside Jungkook's mind. The threats, the secrets, the endless tension of the past weeks had culminated into this single, unrelenting moment. He stood by the window, hands gripping the ledge, chest tight, heart hammering like it might burst. And behind him, Jimin watched quietly, every inch of him radiating calm determination, and the same fire that had refused to be extinguished since that first midnight touch. "They think they can control us," Jungkook muttered, voice low, almost bitter, eyes scanning the cityscape. "They think fear will make us back down, will make us hide, but I won't let them." Jimin stepped closer, pressing a hand to Jungkook's shoulder. "Then don't," he said softly, voice firm yet tender. "Don't hide, don't apologize, don't let anyone decide what we are, who we are. We're stronger than that, stronger together." His thumb brushed over Jungkook's clavicle in a gentle, grounding motion, yet there was undeniable heat in the gesture, a promise, a challenge, a confession. Jungkook turned, eyes dark with intensity, and pulled Jimin close. "I've never wanted anyone like this," he admitted, voice rough with emotion and desire. "Not like you, not ever, and I won't let them take that from me." Jimin's lips pressed against Jungkook, soft at first, lingering, tasting the words that neither could speak aloud. Then, as if fueled by the tension and passion that had defined their days and nights together, the kiss deepened, fierce and desperate, a mixture of surrender and defiance. Every touch, every sigh, every whispered name became a declaration of everything they had risked and everything they had fought for. "You're mine," Jimin murmured against his lips, voice low, intimate and commanding. "And I'm yours, no matter what." Jungkook's hands gripped Jimin's waist, pulling him impossibly close. "Then we face it," he whispered back, voice trembling with desire and conviction. "Together, always." For hours, they clung to each other, bodies and hearts entwined, the outside world reduced to insignificance. Every whispered confession, every tender touch, every heated kiss was an act of rebellion, a refusal to let fear or judgment define them. They shared laughter, tears, and silences thick with meaning, discovering depths of trust and desire they had never dared explore before. Eventually, they collapsed together on the couch, limbs tangled, breath slowing, hearts finally finding rhythm together. Jimin rested his head against Jungkook's chest, listening to the steady beat of his heart. "We made it," he whispered softly, voice tinged with awe and relief. "Through everything, we made it." Jungkook pressed a kiss to the top of Jimin's head, fingers brushing through his hair. "Yeah," he murmured, voice husky. "We did, and nothing, no threat, no secret, no judgment can ever change that." For the first time in weeks, maybe months, they allowed themselves to simply be, safe in each other's arms, free from pretense, free from fear, free from the world's gaze. And in that stillness, that perfect, stolen moment, they understood that some connections are too powerful to be broken, some fires too bright to be extinguished, and some loves too fierce to ever be denied. As the sun set, casting golden light across their entwined forms, neither spoke. Words were unnecessary. Everything had been said in touches, in sighs, in the shared heat of their closeness. They had survived the threats, the chaos, the world outside, and emerged not unscathed, but stronger, untouchable together. And in the quiet, intimate glow of their apartment, with the city alive beyond the windows, Jungkook and Jimin finally allowed themselves to surrender fully, to desire, to trust, to love. And it was everything they had ever needed, everything they had ever risked, and everything they would ever fight to protect. The world could wait. For now, there was only them. Only the heat, the heartbeat, and the undeniable, unyielding magic that existed whenever their eyes met, their hands touched, and time itself seemed to stand still.